Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to get into a topic that might just change the way you see words forever. It's called critical discourse analysis, or CDA for short, and it's all about how language isn't just for talking, it's a serious tool of power. And our guide for this whole thing is an incredible article by Damber Singh Saud. So, a huge shout out to him for his amazing insights, and also thank you to BithyRT Media and Holistic Education for creating a platform where these kinds of important ideas can get out there and be discussed. Okay, let's dive in.
Just let that sink in for a moment. The actions of the person could be exactly the same, right? But that one single word, that label, it completely changes how we see them, our sense of empathy, even our moral judgment. And that is the core of what we're talking about today. Language is never, ever neutral. It's actively building the world we live in.
So, how are we going to unpack all of this? Well, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to explore that hidden power that's baked right into language itself. Then, we'll nail down exactly what CDA is and where it came from. After that, we'll look at how it's actually used in the real world, specifically in Nepal. And we'll wrap up by talking about why this stuff truly matters to every single one of us.
All right, first things first, the big idea. You see, language doesn't just sit back and describe reality. Nope. It gets in there and actively builds our reality. The words we pick, the way we phrase things, they shape our behaviors, our beliefs, our identities, and the very power structures that we navigate every day.
Okay, so what is critical discourse analysis really? Let's break down what it actually means.
Basically, CDA is like a special set of glasses that lets you see beyond the surface of what's being said. You can apply it to anything, a political speech, a news report, even your kid's textbook. It helps us uncover all the hidden assumptions, the subtle biases, and the power games being played. You could almost think of it as an X-ray for communication.
And here's what really makes CDA different. It isn't trying to be neutral, not at all. It has a very clear mission to find and challenge social inequality. It pulls from all sorts of fields, like sociology and linguistics, to figure out how language is used to keep power structures in place. And the ultimate goal? To inspire real-world positive change.
You know, to really get a feel for CDA's impact, it helps to know where it came from. This isn't just some new academic fad. It's an idea that's been cooking for decades, built on a ton of critical thinking about language.
And this timeline shows that evolution perfectly. It all started back in the 70s with a field called critical linguistics, where scholars started saying, hey, even simple grammar choices aren't innocent. Then, in 1989, Norman Faircloth comes out with his book Language and Power, and boom, that really puts CDA on the map. From there, through the 90s, other brilliant thinkers like Toon Van Dyke and Ruth Wodak just built it up into the powerful tool we have today.
Okay, so how do people actually do this kind of analysis? Well, it's not just one single method. There are a few key models that analysts use, and we're going to look at the three big ones that make up the toolkit.
Right, so these three, Faircloth, Van Dyke, and Wodak, are pretty much the architects of modern CDA. Each of them gave us a unique, but also complementary way to look at that complex relationship between language and society.
This table gives us a really clear side-by-side look. You can think of it like this. Faircloth's model is like a 3D view, looking at the text, the context it was made in, and the wider society all at once. Van Dyke's approach is more psychological. It's all about how our own minds and beliefs shape the words we use. And Wodak's model is like a historical lens, showing us how language is both a product of history and a force that creates it.
But hey, this isn't just some abstract theory for academics. How does CDA actually work on the ground, in a real place, with its own complex social issues, like Nepal?
This is such a powerful question, isn't it? CDA gives us the tools to really inspect the things we might just accept as normal. When you start analyzing how a textbook talks about the nation or about different ethnic groups, you start to see the hidden ideologies that are being passed down to the next generation.
And this quote from the source article is just a perfect example. A CDA look at education policy shows that choosing to teach in English isn't just about practicality. It's an ideological move. It ties English to ideas of modernity and prestige, and in doing so, it can push local languages to the side and reinforce old social hierarchies.
And you can apply this logic everywhere. You could use CDA to break down a politician's speech about development and ask, okay, but whose development are we really talking about? Or you could analyze how the news talks about minority groups to spot subtle biases. In a place like Nepal, which is changing so fast, especially with social media and fake news, these tools are more important than ever.
So let's bring this all together.
At the end of the day, why does this matter to you? Why is understanding critical discourse analysis so important for all of us, not just academics?
What it all boils down to is this: empowerment. CDA gives us the ability to develop what you might call a critical consciousness, to really see the power dynamics hidden in the news we read, the ads we see, the speeches we hear. It helps us shift from being just passive consumers of information to being active, critical thinkers who can actually question and challenge the world around us.
So I'll just leave you with that question to think about. The next time you write an email, post on social media, or just have a conversation, maybe take half a second to think about the words you're choosing. Whose story are they telling? Whose power are they supporting? Because as we've seen, our words are never just words. Thanks for digging into this with me today.